All right, and we're live. We're live online. I'm so excited. We have a hybrid event. Everyone say hi to our live stream audience. So excited to have everyone here today and have our first hybrid welcome back. So we are going to start our hybrid event with our favorite speaker, our founder, our hero, Mr. Weaver. Everyone clap.
Thank you very much. Before we get started, I'd like Aaron, we're very honored today. We have one of our partners here, and I'm going to have Aaron introduce him. Aaron?
Good afternoon. We're so lucky to have here Dr. Jaber and Mr. Gothic, not only here from Harper Woods. We just want to say thanks for showing up. We appreciate your leadership.
Thank you, Aaron. Well, I've got 4 speeches to give because we missed 21. Well, we missed the fall of 20, 21, 22, and this is 23. So I'm glad so many of you are here. I have a question though before we start. We're going to do a little show of hands. Is there anyone here that I have not spoken to today? Anyone? Okay. But you think there's a prize?
No.
Well, we're glad that you're here and that we did miss 3 or 4 starts and such, and we really miss that. You know, the pandemic made a difference. It changed all of us to some extent. I know now the daily habits of a squirrel in the winter, depending on the temperature and such. And I'm sure that many of you had to pick up hobbies and this type of thing during this time. But we're really honored to have our partners from with us today, and thank you for coming. Thank you for coming from Harperwood, because we really appreciate and we value that partnership. A few months ago, we made some decisions, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on talking to you about it because we'll get the information to you. Renee, Scott, Pat, and our other board members, we made a decision. We said, it's different now than it was the past 3 years. So what should we do? So we said, for those of you from the farm, we need a 4-legged stool. We only have a 3-legged stool, so we need a 4-legged stool because that's more stable. So we made a decision, because new things are happening all the time, that we would add Mr. Greg Green to our staff, and so we could expand and do some things that are necessary to benefit you as an employee. And we appreciate you, each and every one of you. I have a list of things I could go through and name all of the departments that we have, but each one of you is important to our organization. No matter what your job is. Is it enrollment? Is it receptionist? Is it a teacher? Is it a specialist? Whatever the case happens to be, you are important and you are needed in our organization. and we appreciate you. And we hope that we will have many of these dinners in the future. This is my 64th opening day. And I want to share a little bit about that with you because I believe it's very apropos. Not only how times have changed, but just psychologically, sometimes we do things incorrectly when we think we're being correct. You know, I came from a small community, a farm community, as you know. I took football and I got beat up every day, but I could take a shower at the end of the day because we didn't have indoor plumbing. So that was my reason for playing football. And the girls liked you if you were a football player too, you know, but I wasn't that good. And I'm wondering, you know, how did we get to where we're at? How did we choose the path that each one of us take? And I think that I kind of chose a path because of my childhood. I didn't like to go to school very much. There was more fun things to do. So I didn't do very well in school. I finished 53rd in my class. Now, we had 813 graduates. Is that correct, Beth? Okay, so 53rd wouldn't be too bad. But we only had 56 graduates. So that was not so good. So I would tell people I was third in my class from the bottom. And I went into the military and I did very well on tests. I did very well on tests and I had a knack for math. And so I scored very high. So people would say, well, gee, you must have done well in high school. And I would say I was third in the class and I didn't finish it and such. But again, I think that that molds your life to some extent, good, bad, or indifferent. So the military certainly changed my life, my work life, and I went to college and I was working at Dow Chemical, and I said, you know, I'd like to go to college. And so the psychologist that they were just introducing at that time says, your chances of getting in Central are great, but you're going to have to break in. So I kind of took that as a challenge. I got into Central, I got into teaching, and I taught in a small farm community school. And when we had a welcome back, the principal went through every kid in the school, in the high school, because I was a high school teacher. He gave us a background of every student. You know, this kid's a dunderhead. His parents were no good. You know, he had prejudged because he had been there forever. He had prejudged each and every one of those kids. And I think that you are great because you are the least judgmental of any group of people that I know. That you give each student that comes to us the opportunity to change their life. And that's great. You can't buy that. You cannot buy that. And some don't make it. Some don't make it. Some come back to us a half dozen times, and then they make it. And you see in the emails that we send out on a daily basis, the points of pride that the parents feel in their kids graduating from school. It's because of you. It's because of what you do on a daily basis. You know, we got an email this morning, I'm sure you all read it, and it identified not only a teacher, but the enrollment person. That child's graduating, and they still remember how well they were treated in the enrollment process. That's why each one of you, your job is important. You help to change people's lives. 813 graduates this past year. 1,813 people that their chances of going to the criminal system has been greatly reduced. And greatly reduced. We know that. You get a high school diploma, your chances of being involved with the criminal system goes down dramatically. Not only did we change, and I say that collectively, the lives of those 813 young people, we changed the projection of their parents' lives, their siblings. So probably we impacted 20 to 30,000 people this past year, because we not only impacted the graduates, we impacted all of our students. And that's what you do. And we appreciate that. Each one of you in your job is qualified. There's no question. Whatever your job is, you have the qualifications to do that. But the difference is, in people, is attitude. Got to have a positive attitude. And I think that the group that we have here and online project that. Because that's the feedback we're getting from the students. So we know you're positive. You know, there's two kinds of people. One person that gets up in the morning and throws open the window and says, "Good morning, God." And the other person that gets up in the morning and says, "Good God," all morning, already. That's two kinds of people. We got to be a good morning. We got to be positive. We got to be non-judgmental. We've got to take and impact that student. We got to help that student. We can't do it ourselves. The students got to do the work. They got to pay the price. But we are the guide. We're the motivator. We're the positive thing in their life. And you know that. That some days you're the only bright spot in that student's life. You know that. And don't forget it. You do great work. You do great work. We're fortunate to have you. And we're going to do great things with our students and our partners this fall, because without our partners, we have nothing. And we're going to do some new things. As you know, we're getting back into the tutoring. We just were approved in Indiana and in Texas and in Charlotte, North Carolina. We've been doing some tutoring. And as you know, we did a lot of tutoring back with No Child Left Behind. But with the same approach, the positive approach. And you are amazing because you develop a relationship, and that's what it's all about, a positive attitude, and a relationship with that student and their parents. And those of you that are teachers and enrollment or that have contact with the student, you get to know the parents. Teachers that have come to us recently have said they have had more contact with parents when they're teaching online than they ever had when the child was in a traditional school. Online is not for everyone. Online is not for everyone. But there's a lot of children out there that need what we have to offer. We have many students who come to us and they go back this fall to the traditional school. We're losing some students, not only the graduates, but we have children who are going back to their home school. To me, that's fantastic. Because we help the challenges that we help that child to overcome the challenges that they faced in a traditional school. So that's my 2020 speech. Now we'll go to 21. But we're really looking for a great year, and people will ask me many times, you know, you must feel good, you know, you have a company with a lot of people, and the people make the company. It's not the company, it's the people that make the company. You make ATS what it is today. It's not me. It's not Renee, it's not Scott, it's not Pat. It's each one of you that take that positive attitude and say, I'm going to help someone today. I'm going to help someone. Sometimes it's tough, right? Because we got a life too. Me and that squirrel. But we got a life too. We have issues in our life, and the pandemic brought a lot of those to the head. And all of us were impacted to some extent by the pandemic. But we have to move ahead. We have to put those things beside us when we turn Zoom on and concentrate working with those young people who are looking up to us. And I know sometimes you get frustrated with the student because they don't do what you ask them to do. But you know, you've got to go on, and you can't use that energy worrying about something that you cannot control. And I just think you're amazing. Melissa, thank you for putting this on. It's been too long since we've got together like this, and I'm sure we're going to do it again soon. So thank you very much. You're wonderful.